Hey guys, welcome back to part 10 in this Beginner's Guide to HTML series. Today we're going to be talking about images in HTML. So first of all, let's do a quick refresh on how to insert images in our web page. So I went to google.com and I searched for random images. And I'm going to save a couple images in my computer inside the web tutorial series folder. So I'll call this image 1. Pick this image as well, image 2.jpg, and also this one, image 3. So in the same folder as my images, I've also created a file called part10.html, and I have it open on Sublime Text. So in this file, I have a heading and a horizontal row. Under the heading, we're going to put in an image. So in order to do that, we use the image tag, img. Then we have to specify the source with the URL of the image. Inside the image source, we're going to put in the name of the image file. So let's say we want the image1.jpg to be displayed. And that's it. So now open up this document, and now we have an image in our HTML page. Whenever you insert an image in your HTML document, you should also include an alternative text attribute. So let's say architecture. So this is done just in case the image does not exist in your file or the image could not be found. So if I go ahead and delete image1.jpg and reload this page, instead of the image, we're going to see the alternative text, which is architecture. I'm going to undo the deletion. Now if I reload, it goes back to normal. So that was the quick refresh on how to insert images in our HTML documents. So now let's do the same thing for our image2.jpg and image3.jpg. So just change the source to image 2 and image 3. So I'll change the alternative text on image 2.jpg to lines, and I'll change the alternative text to image 3 to circles. Save this document and reload this page. So now we got 3 different images, although they don't look cool. So we're going to fix all this by changing the style attribute in these images, and we're going to make all of them the same size. In order to do that, we're just going to add the style attribute, and then we're going to give it a width of, let's say, 100 pixels, and the height, let's say 100 pixels. So let's make them square images, and I'm going to copy this style attribute, and I'm going to give the rest of my images this style attribute as well. And don't forget the end quotes. Save this document, reload the page, and now they're all resized. Alternatively, you can also utilize the width and height attribute instead of the style attribute. To do that, you type width equals, and then 100, height equals 100. So instead of using the style attributes here, we're using the width and height attributes. We're going to save this document and reload this page. So you can see both work identically. First of all, you might notice that I did not include the pixels, the px after width and height, like I did inside our style attribute. That's because the width and height is that's because the width and the height attribute always defines the width and the height in pixels. So you don't need to specify it. It will always be defined in pixels. Although inside our style attributes, we can use pixels, or we can also use percentages. Now you might be wondering, which one should you use? Should you use the style attribute or the width and height attribute? So w3schools.com tells you that you should always use the style attribute instead of the width and height attributes, because the width and height attribute might allow CSS to overwrite this. So let me show you what I mean. inside our head section, let's open up a style tag. And inside our style tag, we're going to write image. Let's give it a width of 100%. Save this document and reload this page. As you can see, so although we did mention that in our image 2, we wanted the width to be 100 pixels wide, but this the CSS that we put in our style attribute, but we did change the CSS width property of our images inside the style, and that actually overwrote what we had in this width attribute over here. Right, but notice that the other two images did not change, and that's because we did specify the style attribute over here. This is inline CSS, and that overwrote the internal CSS. So always use the style attribute to size your images. In order to organize our website properly, we might want to put all the images inside an images folder. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this folder images, and then I'm going to transfer all these, and then I'm going to move all these images inside that folder. Right? And now in order to access the images inside that folder, all we need to do is go inside our image source and add the name of the folder at first, followed by a /. So the folder's name is images and then a /. Do this for the rest of the two images and save this document and reload this page, and as you can see, it works perfectly well. Alternatively, instead of storing an image inside your computer, you can always just copy the image link. So copy image address, and if you just place that in your source and save this document, the image works just fine as well. So you don't need to store it. So you can put the link to any image on the web. HTML also supports GIFs. So if you want to do that, it is entirely possible. So let's save this GIF to our images folder and call this image 4. Now if you just copy one of these and paste it down here, change the images to image4.gif or GIF, whichever you prefer, and I set the alternative text to earth. Go back to our page and reload, and you can see the GIFs working perfectly as well. In the last video, I think we've looked at how to put an image as a link. So let's say we want this rotating earth to be clickable, and let's say it'll take us to google.com. So to do that, we are going to open up an anchor tag and set its href attribute to google.com. And we're going to close the anchor tag after the image. Save this document and reload our page. And now the earth is actually clickable, and if you click on it, it takes you to google.com. Now I want to talk about the float property that you can use in CSS. So after the third image, at first I'm going to put in a line break so that the earth is on a different line. And now inside our style attribute on image4.gif, we're going to put in a float property, and we're going to type right. Save this document, and now if you reload, so as you can see, this is aligned to the very right. Okay, so you can set the float property to right or left. So now we can also put background images in our HTML elements. In order to do that, we need to use the style attribute as well. So let's say we want a background image in our body. And let's say we want our background to look something like this. So copy this image, and we're going to call this our background. And now if you go back to your HTML document, go inside the body tag, the opening body tag, and give it a style attribute. Then we're going to type background image and we're going to specify the URL of the image. So URL, and it's in our images folder, and it's called background.jpg. Okay, so this is the syntax: background-image, colon, then you type URL, parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you type the URL of the image. In our case, it's in the images folder, and the image name is background.jpg. Save this document, and reload this page, and now our background looks way cooler than it used to. So obviously it's not only just the body element that works with background images. You can put in a background image to a lot of different HTML elements, such as paragraphs. So let's create a paragraph and put in some random text in here. And let's say we want to end this paragraph over here. Save it and reload. So as you can see, we got our paragraph over here. Let's remove the background image from our body and give only this paragraph a background image. So all we got to do is remove the style attribute from our body section. We're going to cut this part and simply paste it inside our paragraph opening tag. Save this document and reload, and now only the paragraph section contains that background image. So that's it for this video. If you want to read more about HTML images, always go back to w3schools.com. I'll provide the link in the description. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and like this video, share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next video.